the pension committee, but I haven't met everybody.
Okay. These are the ones that usually give the tickets to everyone. So they're the key people to
These
know.
are the good ones to know.
They're
Been a
the
long
good
time.
ones to know, right.
I haven't met everybody.
These are the ones that usually give the tickets to everyone. So they're the key people to
These are the
know.
good ones to
A
know.
little echo.
Long time.
Yeah, what's the, we're getting an echo here. Let me
So I'm gonna
switch to,
close it.
okay, let me,
Let me go back. Wait, we should be okay now.
okay. Yeah, where's Marietta?
Yep.
I am now transcribing below my screen. Did I inadvertently turn something on?
No, that's what it does. That's part
Okay.
of,
Okay. Well, look at.
Is there a way we can turn that off? It is just like on our screens. I don't think. Oh, let's see.
Yes, down at the bottom, click the
Yep.
CC live transcript button and you can turn it off so you don't see it on your screen.
I don't
click
have
this-
a CC live transcript.
Yeah,
button.
neither do I.
Are you on your phone or
No.
an iPad?
next to, like,
I'm
is
on
it
an
the-
iPad, yeah.
to the left of more and to the right of pause, stop recording? Do you have that?
No.
But that's okay. I mean,
That's okay. Yeah, I'm with you. Well, look at, it's 5:30. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Tally, let me know when.
We're
when we
ready.
can- Okay, we're ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome. I'd like to call the February meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners to order. Per our practice and tradition, I'd like to open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of the United States of America and to the
to
republic
the republic
for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all.
We've had other meetings with a better pledge, but that was, we'll take that
Not bad.
for tonight. So welcome. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge Captain Harkins, who will be serving as the senior police official and executive for the meeting this evening. The chief, as you may be aware, is out on absence. He does have an illness and, maybe out for a period of time. So given the leadership team that's with us tonight, I think we're certainly comfortable moving ahead, including with this meeting. So Captain Harkins, thank you for taking on these responsibilities.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to accept our January 13th Board of Police Commission minutes?
I had a question on the minutes.
Okay.
I noticed that we have a list of others in attendance. And is it typical for us to add members of the public that are there? I see we added Ryan Duquesne, and I understand we knew he was coming to the meeting, but is that a normal occurrence? I don't think I've noticed that before, if it is.
It's been done before. I was just following what I've seen before. It's
Yeah.
a good question.
Yeah, I think we did it because he requested and we accepted his request to make a presentation, Marietta.
Okay, so if it's a member of the public that we know is coming to talk about some issue around town, we would not put them in, but because Ryan had gotten himself on the agenda, we added him.
Right. We
Okay.
got it. Thank you.
That was my,
But in that case, you have Maureen Lopes and Steve Brunel
So
on
she's
there.
been included in the past, Maureen
Okay.
Loves, like in the year past when she was at meetings, I saw that she was included as present.
well, I
Why
think if we just need to figure out who's going to be on that
Right.
list and who, under what situations a person is on that list. But I think if they're there in attendance. They're not on our agenda. They're there to comment on something. They shouldn't be listed as another person at the meeting. It'll be obvious from the minutes when they comment that they were there, but they're not acting in an official capacity,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, Marietta.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we could just verify that. You know,
Absolutely.
we do ask certainly for, I presume for video as well as our own information, anyone who speaks or comments in meetings asked to identify themselves and provide their address. So,
Right.
but I think Marietta has a good point. Should we include any member of the public who speaks? There certainly is not a sign-up sheet or anything like that attended the meeting, but we'll, thank you, Mary. We'll clarify that.
Mhm.
The only other comment, I apologize, Holly, I did look at this earlier, is at the end of Mr. Duquet's presentation on the drones. I thought we did summarize that this zone utilization would be included as part of a longer term technology view that the department would be looking at, you know, as we develop, I think, other potential technology uses affecting law enforcement. So I think when he concluded his conclusion, we just said, okay, when we look at future technology, certainly Zoom will be part of it. As it, by the way, I think I noted, we had actually discussed this probably 3 years ago, but it is something, certainly the concept of utilizing Zoom is going to be explored in a number of first responders, including law enforcement. So if we could just add that to the kind of the summary after his presentation, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Any other changes or amendments to the meeting, to the minutes? All those in favor of accepting the January minutes as modified, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Good. Thank you. Holly, are there any members of the public present that have indicated they would like to
No,
comment?
not at the moment.
So they all went to the Board of Selectmen meeting?
Well, they're all getting ready for that meeting that starts.
Oh,
in
this is not
22
till
minutes.
6.
Yes.
Whoa, that's
So we have,
shocking.
right now, it's us.
Well, we may not be much, but we're all we have at this point. So why don't we move on? Captain, if you could just walk us through the chief's report. And
Okay,
I
sure.
realize in the chief's absence, I know he has certain background information that he's regularly provided that, you know, this might be a higher level view of it, but Captain, please.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, so the budget financial report, we seem to be on target for the month of January. Some expenditures to note, we had a little uptick in the overtime replacement. It was $41,073. The reason for this was that we had officers out sick with COVID, as well as at least 3 officers out that were injured. So that was the hiring of officers to replace them. The second reason is the pay rates for officers increased per the contract on January 1st. So there's some increase in salaries starting on January 1. And lastly, according to payroll, the last 2 weeks of December were paid in January. That also factors in holiday pay, Christmas, New Year's Eve. So that appears to be the reason for the slight increase in overtime for the month. One other thing, the vehicle maintenance, some of our older vehicles needed repair. We expended $9,346. One particular vehicle cost a little bit more to repair than the other 2. One of the reasons is that a defective valve. It's a canine vehicle. It's a vehicle that we need for our canine. We need to have our canine out into the field. So that cost a little bit more money. So that was the expenditure in vehicle maintenance. Under police services and supplies, $9,848. We had 2 invoices from the company On-Site Services $5,100 for the installation of the 2 radar signs on the post road near the golf course. I don't know if you guys have you seen them, as well as Island Avenue in the Green. There was an expenditure for $3,803 for the 13 aluminum signs. These were all scheduled in September, but we received the invoices in January. So that's the expenditure there. Lastly, it's staff uniforms. Uniforms for our staff. We have Officer Thoreau, who's no longer in our police academy, but we had to outfit her originally before going. Officer Larson is our officer that came from Guilford. So he's working for us now. Officer Wells, that's in the academy right now, and Officer De Palma. I'll mention him a little bit later in the meeting. But so there's 4 officers that were fitted. So that's $3,587. So those are the notable expenditures for the month.
Captain, can I have ask a question about the signs, the speed monitoring signs? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. Was that regular maintenance, or was there a malfunction that had to be repaired?
No, I have the invoice directly in front of me. It says installation of signs, 2 radar signs.
Okay,
The 2 additional ones that we put up.
so that was just the installation.
Correct.
for it. Okay, so just kind of a memo to self. We're asking for how many, Holly? 6 additional radar signs. So my presumption is the cost of those signs would also include, a $2,000 per sign installation. I think my recollection was 3 of them, or maybe half of them, were permanent, and the other half were mobile. Is that correct? Okay,
Yeah.
so we just hopefully our expense budget request, reflects the installation. Okay. Any questions at this point about the budget? Okay. Activity statistics, Captain.
Okay, so in the month of January, we had 6 arrests. We had 111 motor vehicle stops. We had 0 auto thefts, which is very good. Yeah, yeah. So, and we had 1 car that was rummaged through, but nothing was taken. One thing to note: we had 2 catalytic converter thefts on the post road. People use the metal from the catalytic converter for they bring them to scrap yards. They get money for it. They are specifically targeting Toyota Priuses. So both vehicles in the town of Madison were from Toyota Priuses. I guess the metal might be a little bit more valuable than your average car. So Toyota Priuses, 2 catalytic converter thefts. One thing to note, Lieutenant York put together some statistics in regards to auto theft. We had a reduction. So in 2020, we had 31 stolen cars. In 2021, we had 20 stolen cars. So we had a 36% reduction in auto thefts this past year. I attribute that reduction to our partnership with the community with our Lock It or Lose It campaign. I think, working with the community like we did with the signs and handing out pamphlets, I think it went a long way. It reduced our auto thefts. That was a big concern amongst our community. And I think, we're on our way to really, bringing those numbers down. So, and making the town safer. Lieutenant Mulhern, do you have anything to add to activity and statistics?
What you were just saying is, wholeheartedly correct on why they've cut down. And we stressed all along that part of it, we could decrease those numbers through target hardening, which is simply, being aware of your surroundings, lock your car, and having your neighbors on alert, and it's worked. Also, the state lab's been a lot quicker with forensic testing. So we're getting samples back from some of those cars and making arrests. So that's obviously a deterrent. The only thing I want to add is we had a burglary on County Road back in August. We just were notified that we got an offender hit on that based on DNA. The detectives went back, continued to work on that with the help of Stratford, who was familiar with this individual. And we were able to, they had already seized his cell phone. We were able to get evidence out of his cell phone showing that he was at our crime scene at the time of the offense. So they're in the process of preparing to arrest him. Other than that, like the captain said about the catalytic converters, they like to target the big vans as well. It's happened to the senior vans just because the sheer amount of metals in them. And the Priuses, they have a different type of metal. I think it's like chromium or something in them that makes them more valuable. But other than that, just try to park your car as close as you can to your house, near a light, because they will come right in the driveway trying to get those. That's about all I have.
Thank you. Let me ask you, this is a generic question to the officers present. It really reflects, based on the statistics that you just noted, that here was a campaign that the department initiated. And as a result, just doing some math, there was a 35% reduction in car thefts as a result of the campaign. My question is, how do we publicize that so that people understand, if you kind of listen to some public safety common sense recommendations, there is an effect. We didn't eliminate them. We never thought we could, but a 35% reduction is a significant reduction. I mean, is there a website that we should put on? Is there, is that the best way to communicate it? If we hand out, statistics or excuse me, flyers, is that something that should be noted and highlighted? I think by any measure, this was this campaign, and we all participated and kind of listened to the suggestions that you officers raised with the chief about how to do this. And guess what? It worked. And, I just would ask you to give some thought, whether it's on the, our website or the town's website, or whether it should be a press release, an interview that we should ask the patch to talk with someone here, because sometimes we make these recommendations and you don't really absorb whether the public is listening. So welcome, Tom. But anyway, if you could give it some thought, I'd appreciate it, because it is a trophy, a small trophy that we should put on the shelf that says, guess what? This is how police engage with the community. This is what police engagement means. And we need to beat that band a little bit. I mean, certainly, we listen, all of us listen to a lot of upset people in our, standing room only meetings when we went through this. So, it's a good story to remind people. This is not just blather that is coming out. I mean, some of it is common sense, but it's a reminder that said this. If you put something as simple as what the lieutenant said, cut down on car thefts in the parking lot, put lights in the parking lot, put lights on, outside lights, lock your car. That's how you do it. So
anyway. A lot of credit to those upset people that showed up, because they were to take the steps, meet with us, countless emails, countless correspondence, and they were willing to do it, and they came up with great ideas. Some of them weren't the most popular, but they worked.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, just to add to the lieutenant's comments, I think it's a good example of the community working with the police. That's the most crucial thing. The police can't do it all by themselves, and the community needs the police to help them. And I think it's a really good example of the community and the police coming together, meeting and coming up with resolutions, and actually had really good results. And I think it's a really good example of policing and community policing, working with the community.
well, give some thought. I mean, most of these, I know all these neighborhood associations have an appointed or elected president or coordinator. You give some thought whether just a note, Captain, to that effect. We're pleased to announce there's been a 35% drop in car thefts as a result of your willingness to work with us and communicate to your friends and neighbors about following certain. I mean, I think just sending something out that along the lines you mentioned that said, hey, we listened, collectively we did something, here's the result, and you're going to encourage them to kind of look to have some dialogue with the police and including the officers that they may see in their neighborhood. And also, we're kind of acknowledging, hey, we just can't do this by ourselves. There aren't enough cars, there aren't enough officers, there aren't enough patrol cars. So work with us, and we'll, we can make some progress here. Anyway, it's a good report. Thank you.
Mhm.
Ted,
Yes.
I just like to offer, I totally agree. I think that what can also be done is just layering on top of what's already been done. So if you guys print new flyers, like we saw, for the upcoming season, especially for the folks who come in for the warmer months, to put in a paragraph or a couple of sentences with this information saying, it's because of locking doors in our community partnership that resulted in a 35% decrease, in cars being stolen and so on and so forth. I think the idea of a press release is a great idea, because wasn't there something in the source, talking about this? So, I think that's a great idea, press release with quotes from you guys, and or Chief Drum.
Mhm.
So
Anyway, that's a good point. Give it some thought, and again, I know you've got a few other things to do, but this is one that says, hey, we somewhat of an effort on this is certainly not going to be as much as Lieutenant, taking a report and tracking down a car theft and doing all the other stuff that's involved when an event like that happens. So anyway, it's a good suggestion, Ian. Let's see what we can do. Sorry, Captain.
Will do. Okay. Lieutenant York with the monthly training report.
Yes, so for the month of January, the Madison Police Department participated in 171 hours of training. The big things this month we focused on was our ethics training that we do every January. Also is EMR certification. All of our officers are emergency medical responders, and every 2 years, officers need to go through 16 hours of recertification training to keep their state license. We also did collect NCIC recertification. If you guys don't know what that is, that gives the officers ability to run in criminal justice databases. You have to be certified in that. That just keeps their certification going, so they're able to do all that. And then we also had SWAT training and canine training. Big training. Yes. Yep.
That database access, is that the FBI? How broad a reach do you have for that?
Yeah, so it gives us access to all, license plates, if a person's wanted, criminal history. It gives us access to a lot of, important criminal justice information. In order to have access to that, we need to make sure every officer is certified, not expired. So I keep track of that, and I let the officers know when they have to be trained.
Thank you.
Yep. Some big trainings that are coming up per the police accountability bill. Our use and force instructors have to teach in person a post-council mandated presentation about the new use of force laws, and that will be taking place in March. We were going to do it sooner, but with COVID, we didn't want to bring a bunch of officers together in a single room. So that will be going on in March. And also 5 officers have to go through their initial 60-hour EMR to get their initial certification. So that will be starting next week for officers to obtain that.
Lieutenant, the 60
Yes.
hours, how is that spread out?
So it's online. So the officers will have approximately 2 to 3 months to do it online on their, days off before and after their shift. After they complete the online, they'll have a 1-day where skills they have to show instructors in person, all their skills. Once they get signed off on that, they have to take a state of Connecticut exam to be fully certified. So it's a long process. Usually officers get that in basic training at the police academy. But a lot of these officers that we hired, they weren't EMR certified at their previous departments. So now that they're Madison officers, we have to make sure we get them all certified.
Okay, 60 hours is a
It's
pretty serious
quite
class,
intense training. Exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's all I have for training.
Okay. Monthly traffic.
Lieutenant York?
Yep. So for the month of January, there were 28 reported motor vehicle accidents with 5 involving injuries. Leading cause was deer strikes, failure to drive an established lane, and failure to obey traffic control signal device. Just one thing to note, January in the wintertime, we always get more motor vehicle accidents due to, the adverse weather conditions. In January, we had that real bad icy morning. And I think that morning we had 5 to 6 accidents just in 2 or 3 hour stretch. But other to note, there was no DUI accidents and there was 0 fatal motor vehicle accidents. We had 6 private property accidents, and then we assisted the Connecticut State Police with 2 accidents on 95.
Okay.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Yes.
Community calendar.
I have nothing new to report for community calendar.
No, I know we had some potential events listed, I think maybe in January, but my presumption is as we get further into the spring, we'll see whether or not we're, committed and for a number of the summer, serious, significant summer events, related to the 4th of July. But anyway, to be identified. Chief's correspondence. There's nothing in the packet. No one likes to write to the chief anymore. Okay. Traffic issues. I think is there anything that we need to update on that? I think
There is one thing I'd like to add, Ed.
Okay. Sorry,
I spoke to, there's been an ongoing dialogue with town about why Madison does not have crosswalks on the post road in the downtown area. And I think, as we all know, the island in the middle has both electric and water lines in a variety of places, which would mean a serious interruption of those lines and reconfiguration. The only place that potentially we could put a crosswalk with the least amount of effort would be at the end of the island on the west part of town by the firehouse, where the island actually ends. If you're downtown, you will see some folks use that spot, not as frequently as in the middle, but I think if we could, and John is supposed to be talking to the Board of Selectmen about it, and I'm waiting for him to get back, but that could take a while, as we know. However, that spot would be readily available for a crosswalk, for the lines and the appropriate signs. And if nothing else, it would be a gesture that we're at least starting with something as best we can.
Tom, thank you. I had the the opportunity to attend the Board of Selectmen meeting Tuesday night, I believe it was. And one of the things that came out just in terms of a regular report was the flow, the availability of infrastructure, federal infrastructure bill money, and that these were going to be available on a certain allocation basis, and then based on also some competitive requests from within the state. But it's certainly, and one of the things they noted, there was the expectation that Madison, based on whatever parameters are being used, Madison is going to have access for certain funds for the extension of sidewalks or maybe the expansion of sidewalks. So it certainly sounds like, you know, there may be some federal dollars available through the state. And the kind of thing you're talking about, Tom, sounds like it's a you know, absolute, you know, made for a request if there is some justification request. I'm sure there's going to be some interest in expanding some sidewalks. I think, you know, Highland Avenue has sometimes been mentioned as an area that could benefit from additional sidewalks, and there's some other areas in town. But, you know, I think to kind of get our oar in the water with John Anako so that we have a public safety view of where some of these sidewalk or crossing or other, you know, street traffic related modifications need to be made would be very, very helpful. And, you know, my sense with any of this is you want to make your request earlier than later. And so if we could, you know, maybe reach out to, you know, town engineering, at least get a sense of what is the decision process and calendar and the potential availability of funds, because we have had certainly some requests. You know, one of the things that, you know, again, might, you know, fall in this area is, you know, we've had how many years waiting for the state to try to do something with, you know, New Road, exit 62 and the Hammonasset connector, you know.
That's about 9 years old.
Yeah, that's from a traffic point of view, that's clearly a mixed master event. So, you know, maybe it's something we need to, you know, talk with John about to see what we can do. Anyway,
Well, there are two good thoughts. There's your thought with state funds. Then there's the independent town reaction at a place which would give us some visibility and the ability to say, hey, we had to start here. The rest of it is involved with the state. So I'll follow up on a limited basis in that one location to see what John has developed to date.
That'd be great. Thank you. Okay. New business. Captain, any current issues you need to raise?
Just a few things I'll read off here. So Officer Michael DePalma started for us. Officer DePalma is a former police detective for the town of Hamden. He's now a patrol officer for the Madison Police Department. He's currently receiving his field training with Officer Brian Phillips, and all reports so far is that he's doing very well. Our car cameras, we have been meeting with our new camera company, Safely, regarding logistics and obtaining and installing new dash cameras. We purchased 5 dash cameras so far, and that's in the work as far as scheduling when that's going to be when they're going to be installed. This past week, the Madison Exchange Club came to the police department. They dropped off some teddy bears. They wanted officers to hand them out to children that may have been exposed to a traumatic experience. And they thought the teddy bears would help. There's a photograph of this on the Madison Exchange Facebook page, and I believe, Holly, you may have sent out to the commissioners. So the office, the teddy bears have been put in officers' cars. So if they come to a scene like that, the officers can certainly, offer the teddy bear to the child. So that's a nice thing on the exchange behalf. They really did something nice there.
Okay, good.
So, yep.
Okay, correspondence we covered. We're racing through here. Commissioner comments. Marietta?
None here.
I don't really have anything other than thank you guys and ladies for all your hard work while we've had COVID outages, people out for COVID, and I know everybody's doing overtime, and they were doing overtime before, but now it's even worse. And I just want everyone to know that we really appreciate it. The commissioners appreciate it, but I think the community appreciates it. We need you guys more now than ever.
Well said. Thank you. Ann?
No, I agree with Marietta. Thank you. Thanks for pitching in while the chief is out as well. So thanks for being here tonight.
Welcome. My pleasure.
Jude?
I don't have any additional comments.
Yeah.
Except for to echo the thanks. I think that the town really does appreciate its police department and knows the past 2 years have not been easy on you all. And just appreciate the effort. And it's good to see some of these guys meeting guys and women, getting some uniforms now so we can get them out there.
Thank you. Just very, again, let me echo the appreciation. I mean, including, I think the fact that, with, Captain Race's, separation in the fall, everyone is, certainly the officers here have kind of stepped up, and I know directly or indirectly absorbed some other duties, and anyway, they certainly appreciate that. The other thing I would just should have mentioned, and probably under new business, is I understand the replacement camera request, the special appropriations that we made and presented, I think was approved by the Board of Selectmen, is the vote from a referendum was supposed to be tonight. It's been deferred to, I think, February the
28th.
Right. So hopefully, when that passes, we'll be able to upgrade all of our current cameras in accordance with the request. So that's a in-person vote, by the way. One of the few that we've had to pass that. So, and I also understand if they need 75 people to attend to make the vote valid. And Judy may be more tuned into this, but if we don't have a quorum, then it automatically passes, as I understand it.
Correct.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you very much. Let me ask for a motion to adjourn. We just have a very brief executive session to discuss some litigation matter, but I would, as I said, this will not be I don't anticipate this to be a lengthy discussion, but I would appreciate just extending your evening a little bit longer if I could. So is there a motion to move to executive session?
I'll move.
Good.
Second.
Thank you. So Holly, just let me remind the commission panelists. So Holly sent out a second executive session Zoom invitation. So we're going to leave this and presume it might take a couple of minutes to sign off here and sign on via the new executive session. So
The session, Ed, the
Yeah.
Zoom link that I sent out for the executive session, I just guessed on the time. It said 6:30. If it doesn't let you start, takes me 1 second to send out another Zoom link.
okay. And Holly, could you just stay connected till
Yeah, just till you're on, then I'll be off.
You'll, hold our hand while we get there. Good. Thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, officers.
Bye.
Okay, have a good
Have a good
night.
night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.